I'm Melissa. This is Ryan. And it's his birthday.
Oh, no.
And this is Betrayal Body. Yep, he's an old man now. He's actually my
Uh,
age.
36.
Isn't that weird? Dude, it's weird that we're the same age, actually. I was thinking about that. I was like, the synchronicities.
I felt like it was like, it's rude to ask, so I don't, and I don't care about age anymore. It's just another number.
Yeah.
I got lucky
Yeah.
that I'm a 90s baby, so I can do pretty quick math. Like, if,
Oh, shit, you are a 90s baby. I was
yeah,
at the end of 89. I'm at the last 80s. Yeah. I honestly am like torn about birthdays now because like waking up ruined it for me. And it ruined Christmas. And it ruined fucking every holiday on the planet for me. I was thinking as I was getting ready today or at some point today, I was like, you know what the awakening journey is? You're like, fuck, my entire life's a lie. And then like your foundation crumbles and then you're like, fuck. And then you go through this whole entire like down rabbit holes after rabbit hole after rabbit hole, depending on if you're on TikTok or like other social media. And if you're not on social media, then you go down the rabbit hole of your own mind, which I don't know what's scarier. But then you eventually like start climbing out. And then when you finally can breathe and you're like, all right, I think I think I can swim here. The waves have stopped pummeling me. I'm like, okay, I can like breathe for a second. And you're like, I feel like I'm kind of where I started now. I feel like I'm back to the fucking beginning again. Where I'm like, honestly, I don't fucking care if I drink. I don't really care if it's like you have to strip away everything and then it just comes right back. And then you do it more cleanly and organically, you'll start naturally, those things will start falling away. Like, why are we doing this holiday? What the fuck is this about? Why do I care? And I'm like, now my husband's going to dress up as the Easter Bunny this year. And and it's like, just because it's fun.
It is. And it's about returning to that child. Like, when you understand that you've healed when you've gone back and done the work to heal that inner child, like, but you look at it from a perspective, does it matter if it's real or not?
Exactly. And like, basically, once you stop being so rigid about everything of like, oh, they shouldn't be talking about that, or they shouldn't be doing that if they're a spiritual person, or blah, 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 blah. That's all bullshit. All right. And people get stuck there. That's the problem. And that's where these spiritual gurus come into play of like, they fucking know everything. And it's like, no, dude. No one's better than anyone else. No one fucking knows what's actually going on. And if they pretend that they do, that's a big problem. Because the problem is the rabbit holes. The problem is like, I'm gonna become an expert in XYZ. And no one's like just fucking living and just being chill. You know what I mean? Like, hey, have we actually played a game like recently? Have we done that? Have we laughed?
It's getting stuck in an identity, and that's the biggest enemy of a true, fully integrated spiritual awakening. Like, the point of a spiritual awakening is you realize what the truth is outside of you and inside of you. And you hear the phrase ego deaths. The whole point is to kill off those egos, and we get stuck. You need ego to find out who you are. The danger of ego is getting stuck.
It's the definition. We're not defining ego. And I think that's the issue for me. Because I'm like, I fucking love ego. Because that makes us unique, right? That's what makes us individual souls. It's our ego. But like, okay, what are we defining as like, what is dying? You know what I mean? Like, what is actually falling off? How I view it is we're killing the programs that have been installed. All the programs that are fucking put in us since childhood. Well, before childhood. And Ryan and I were talking about this, I think on the phone. And we're like, bro, I'm pretty sure like a reset happened in like the late 1800s. And I'm pretty sure based on just like what I've come across and like intuitively, I'm like, I don't think any of us were really here like 250 years ago. Or how many years ago? How many years ago? 1980. This is why I'm a therapist. I don't know how to do math. Anyway, like 3 generations. Okay, we'll just go with that. 3 generations. Like, I really don't think like most of us can trace back our true lineage. It's all just like fed to us. Well, like, what? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going too down the rabbit hole.
Well,
but either way, that's where I'm talking about the programs were installed from. Is like that beginning and beyond in our DNA. I don't fucking know. Help me, Ryan.
Okay. So, well, today I was over at my mom's. I went and visited her and talked to her for a little bit, and she had a Bible from 1855 that she got into an antique. Yeah. And
nice.
It's falling apart. But again, I wasn't there when that book was pressed, and I don't know. You can write whatever the hell you want down and run it through. Oh, it's the year of our Lord 3026. I write that down and some asshole finds it.
Dude, and how do we fucking know people aren't just planting shit in antique stores and like making it look all rough, like, and say it was printed in this day? You literally can't trust anything.
And that's becoming more and more obvious in our society right now, with all this stuff getting exposed. Like,
yeah,
the ignorance is bliss excuse is being burned away dangerously fast and right in front of our eyes, which can be terrifying. And our hypothesizing, okay, people are going to start having awakenings whether they want to or not. And it's like the JE files. That was a hot button thing for a minute. Well, like a week, let's be honest, until a certain
dude, and the average person didn't even fucking know or care, which is the craziest thing to me. It's
totally
like that's all I could. Yeah, they're like, who's that? Like, what, bro? They're literally disclosing like. But I was there before, so I get it. I totally get it. It's like you're asleep running your program, and this is what I mean by like. And this is, I think, what people are actually trying to say with the term NPC, with the non-playable character shit. I think it's. I'm like, okay, is it actually helpful to think of people as NPCs? No. But what I think they are, like what you're thinking of an NPC, where they're like just saying the same thing over and over, and they don't have any depth, and they're like just like almost like glitch when you ask them like an in-depth question. I think they're just very indoctrinated and super duper programmed, and so their critical thinking skills are just like at a critical low, and they don't have any bandwidth for that type of shit. I think that's kind of what an NPC is. That's how I frame it in my head.
And the way I look at it,
your compassion for others,
it serves a temporary purpose. And that's a quick way to integrate the concept of what you just said. Like, you don't want to spend too much time on it. You just, okay.
Dude, yeah.
NPC, I get it. Let's move on. It's not.
Yeah, and people stay there, and then they're like, well, I can prove this, and da-da-da-da-da. And it doesn't fucking matter, guys.
No.
It's anything that distracts you from yourself is false light, okay? False light agenda. Which, I don't even like framing things as good and bad, or light and dark, to be honest. Because that's also not helpful.
No.
Because us believing in demons and all this bullshit and all these manifestations of things, we are literally creating that because we are so incredibly powerful. Anything that we feed will become the reality or will be true. Straight up. So that's why I'm like, you know what? If that is a thing, that's not in my reality. I'm not fucking believing it. You get to pick and choose, to be honest.
And when you get so hung up in the material, and it's because of societal conditioning, and it's about peeling back the layers of that. As Shrek said, we're onions. We we have to peel back those
Shrek
layers.
Say it, or did the donkey say it?
Well, Shrek said onion, and
okay.
Donkey said, "What about a parfait? Parfaits are delicious."
Okay. You know your shit, dude. What do you not know?
How to maintain a healthy
relationship? Is that how you say? I got you there. Okay.
Healthy
okay,
romantic
we found your
relationship.
Hey, well, you know what? If we can keep this relationship going, because we just met, right? So this is kind of like similar in a way. We're not like banging, but it's like it's intimate in a sense, right?
Well,
like it requires us to be connected and like in sync and connected with each other in like a attuned way, you know?
And that's been my biggest problem and it kind of goes back to the concept of awakening. Part of my awakening was I craved depth in everything I did. Water cooler talk wasn't going to cut it for me.
That's me and the baseball moms. I'm like, tell me about your kids' grades. Like I'll just go sit. I literally will sit in the on the outfield, take my shoes off and ground my feet, and just like cloud burst. Like I talked about last episode.
Yeah,
I literally be racing clouds while my son's playing baseball.
And you know, it's such a tough thing because there's so few people, and I know more and more I'm seeing it through social media on TikTok, this phenomenon being talked about, and I've experienced it firsthand with former coworkers. Like,
what phenomenon are you talking about?
The water cooler talk no longer cutting it. The corporate fucking lighting hellscape, and these surface level conversations. Like, what are we even doing in this?
It's the NPC conversations. It's the program.
Yeah. Oh, just the go along to get along thing. Like, I want to go along more than anybody, but I want to go along in a productive, meaningful, contributing way to something bigger, something more than just chasing the rabbit and waiting all my things, all my pretties. And I love stuff, I love good stuff, but I know I can let them go. I'm not attached to them in the way that
that's a great way to put it. If I lose it,
okay, so be it. It wasn't meant for me.
Because I would say, like all last year, because my awakening was like, it's still ongoing, and I feel like goes on forever, but like it's never ending.
Goes on forever.
Mine was like
party
2020. See, this is where it's like me and my husband. Like he always says shit, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
The Highwaymen? Willie Nelson? Who else is in it? Johnny Cash?
I mean, I know who Willie Nelson is.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Okay. But my awakening happened in 2024. And then I went through that phase of like getting stripped of everything. Where like, you got to strip down to the bare bones and just crumble your foundation. And then, so I got to a point where I was like, bro, how the fuck am I going to do therapy? Like, how do I don't even want my license anymore. I'm like, oh my God, it's all like fake. And honestly, what actually was the catalyst to the beginnings of my awakening was watching a video on Tartaria stuff and how the moon is like a reflection of the earth. And that was like safe enough for me to be like, whoa, what the fuck? There are buildings where the windows are underground. How fucking dumb is that? And then like, we're just like, oh, that's just how it is. And all these cities have buildings with windows underground. That's just how buildings were made. And you're like, dude, that doesn't make any sense.
Use your critical thinking.
That's what I'm saying. I was just driving. I'm in Florida. Okay. I'm in Florida. We don't have basements. We just don't have basements here. I mean, maybe the anomaly houses, but freaking every single city that I've driven through has these buildings underground. And I was like, bro. And that's all I could see in the beginning. It was like, look at that building, look at that building. Look, that one has a little thing where the energy, or the bell would be, or the little energy harvester
fucking
thing.
Bells.
What is it called? But they had the video I watched. It talked about how like the buildings were made for like to get energy, blah blah blah, and they would have like this metal.
The node.
I suck at. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. At the top, and then they removed it. Blah blah blah. So, so I got stripped away of all this event. Like once I learned more and more and more, and I was like, I can't wear makeup. I can't like drink alcohol. I can't do anything. And I was like, bro, I can't do anything because like everything is bad. I can't breathe the air. I can't fucking drink water. And I'm like, I wasn't doing like my highlights in my hair. I freaking literally every aspect of me was like stripped away. And that was all last year. And like I still wore makeup. That's a non-negotiable. But I did change like the makeup I wear. So it's more like, you know, it's more like
it's more mineral makeup.
Yeah. But I'm like, I ain't compromising on that one. But you know what?
Like, I use lotion, but beef tallow lotion.
I went through that phase too. But it's like,
it's fucking fantastic. I love it.
It's all good or whatever, but at the same time, if you're not, it's all about balance. But you have to have you were on one extreme, so you got to go to the other extreme, and then you're going to be like, all right, this is fucking unbearable. I got to go into the middle. I got to have a drink.
Yeah, let me touch. You can put the Jaeger bombs down for special occasions and just get shithoused on wine.
Jaeger bombs.
Like, one bottle of wine.
Yo, but even the wine is poison. Even the wine is, unless you're getting it from overseas. Like, our wine is poison as fuck.
Yeah,
but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Certain
so
bottles.
I had to scale back, and it wasn't until January this year where I'm like, I'm getting fucking highlights again. Like, I want to feel like me again. Because, okay, when we're out of these bodies, and we're just souls, we can be whatever we want. We literally, with a thought, we shift and shift into, shapeshift, essentially, into whatever we want, however we would like to express ourselves. And I've experienced this firsthand out of my body, which we'll get into at some point, I imagine. But first, before we go too far down this fucking rabbit hole, I want to help people understand what awakening actually is to begin with. Like, what is happening? Because the title of our last episode was, You're Not Crazy, You're Waking Up. And I want to help kind of make maybe a part two, this one, of like, all right, well, hold on. Let's start at the beginning. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Let's start at the beginning. What the fuck is awakening? And we'll go from there, like in a nutshell. Help us out, Ryan. You're the guru guy with the. That's actually bad way to say it. You're the.
Yeah,
you're the
I was
brain.
about to say like,
I just said gurus are bad.
Ow!
Or gurus aren't like helpful. They just send you down another rabbit hole.
No,
okay,
it's
continue.
So, at a very grounded level, and I kind of touched on it. It's a realization that there is a deeper truth, and we feel it when we're out of alignment in all of the societal structures, and they're intended to keep us out of alignment. And the longer we're out of alignment, the worse the consequences are, basically, especially if you start pushing back against that programming. You start, okay, nah, this isn't for me. And it's like, no, don't let me go. And so your mind and your body are totally out of sync, and that fucks with your soul, your spirit. Like, if you have your mind and your body in alignment, it feeds your spirit, it feeds your soul. And
yeah, you just like, it's more how I see it is like when they lock in a line, your soul's expression can freely flow through without distortion.
And that's part of it. Like, we attach, every person is unique. We all have unique fingerprints. We're all going to see it a little bit different. So that's where putting labels and definitions on things does become dangerous. And you have to put the disclaimer on it, take it and frame it in a way that works best for you. That's why they're, different religions. A lot of people feel grounded in the Bible, and I've just recently gotten into the Bible and started thumbing my way through it, and there's really good information in there. Like, and if you go
especially
into,
if you can come from the angle of like neutrality and curiosity with your own lens, it will mean something different to every person in their own little flavor or whatever.
And it's supposed to be where you can start seeing yourself reflected in the characters, and you can do it in any story. If you really want to get deep with it, look into J.R.R. Tolkien. the Lord of the Rings series is a
I was like, well, who's that?
Yeah, it's about the journey to oneself when you really boil things down. And we can see ourselves in characters like, I want to be brave, I want to be Aragon, or I want to be brave, I'm David from the Bible, I want to be brave, I want to be Captain America, etc. And you start embodying what makes those people who they are, and you take that and you trust it. This is good, this is universally respected, and okay, I'm going to take that little piece of me. Now I see myself in this character, and I don't like the way that character makes me feel about, so I'm going to shed that. I'm not going to take that into myself.
That's like meant for like inspiration. And then I almost feel like it's you're trying on, like, let me try that on. Like, how does this feel? I don't like it. It's like kind of like learning your clothing style, which I have yet to figure out. And I'm like, maybe that's the whole point for me. And honestly, I feel like once you've reached a certain point, I feel like when you just sway with the wind, you're like, I just felt like fucking dressing like this today. Tomorrow it may be different. I don't know. And you just like allow yourself to express in whatever way you want. And like, if you look at like my TikTok, I'm like different in almost every single video, where it's like a different, depending on my mood, depending on like what's coming in or whatever. It's like sometimes I'm goofy, sometimes I'm more serious, sometimes I'm like cussing like crazy. It's just random, and like I kind of like not being readable, I guess. And that's just kind of like me. But other people, they like being grounded in structure, like more whatever, and that's like their style or flavor.
Which is fine, kind of as long as it isn't a shitty lane. Like, you aren't going 55 in the fast lane. Like, no, fuck you. Merge, get the fuck out of the lane, and please stop talking on speaker. Like, no.
See, it's funny because I look at that and I'm like, I laugh, I like smile at those, and you know what, my my ability to have patience and compassion for people came from when I did a past life regression session, and at the end of it you channel in your higher self or whatever, and I never knew what to expect, and it wasn't until like my third or fourth time doing it with different practitioners, just because I was in training, and it was like the fourth one or something. She was very, I don't know, her energy was off the charts. Like I could feel, it's just the space she held, the safety of that session. I don't know what it was, but I channeled in my higher self, which it was a multi-dimensional version of me, I guess, and it was like, it felt very angelic or something, like the way that it viewed the world and me, it was like so much love. And the smile was shining through me. It was like I was like allowing it to kind of like take over a little bit, like merge consciousness with me. And I was just like surrendering to it. And I was just like it's a hypnosis session. So I'm like
basking
with like tears of like,
oh,
I just love, like, no one can do any wrong. Like, it's hard to say that because like it's hard for people to. I instantly think of Epstein when I say that because I'm like, let me think of the worst case scenario people. How do you love them? You know what I mean?
It's he who must not be named. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Evil bastard.
I ain't scared. No, but there's a role. There's a role for everyone. But they went off the rails. That's why we're fucking here. That's why we're here. Doing what we're doing. Like, and we as in like the people who are stepping up to shed light on things in a grounded way to like help guide and like bring people up with them. Whoever those people are. So, but yeah, the love that I felt of like, you could look at it as like you're looking through God's eyes in a sense of like your children. You love your children no matter what they've done, kind of thing. It's like, because you understand how they got to that place and they don't know what they're doing, kind of thing. So like when people are in the fucking fast lane going slow as hell, I'm just like, that's probably an old man. We're like, it's probably someone on their phone, so distracted with reality, and like they're just caught up in the sauce. Let me just swoop around them, boop, boop, or I'll just chill. I don't know. It's like really, it really just like helped with my patience and stuff like that. I needed that experience.
And, you know, I'm close to that. I will say something it used to be yelling. It used to be, you know,
yeah,
rated R. Like, but I keep my middle fingers to myself now. Just like, wake up. Come on.
Right. I feel like a part of like stripping away everything was also thinking that I needed to behave a certain way. And if I wasn't having certain thoughts or feeling a certain way about certain situations, I felt like I was not good enough in some way, or like I'm fucking something up, or I'm kind of shaming myself and guilting myself, which is exactly the opposite of what this experience is supposed to be. And so what set me free in a lot of ways was giving myself permission to just fucking feel what I want and do exactly what I want. And through doing those things is when you learn, like, I don't actually like doing these things. Say cussing someone out. Like, I don't actually like how that makes me feel. And I'm just going to choose not to do that anymore. But not because it's like what I was told in a fucking TikTok video. But it's more so just because like it doesn't sit right in my body. And in my therapy sessions and stuff, and in my coaching sessions, I've been like reflecting on them sometimes, and like I don't really like how this feels when I feel like I'm taking over a little bit more, too much, or too high level, or like too logic, and I want to like help people come down and explore their own internal world and have a new experience of themselves. And sometimes I get lost in the sauce because it's my comfort zone. Even though I can equally be as comfortable here, it's just like, it's easier to stay up high level and be like, well, these are cycles, and let's break down your shit and your patterns. It's easy for me, but it's like actually hard to like be like, hold on, pull it back, like help them see themselves. And so it's constant like keeping yourself in check. Like, I don't really like how that makes me feel. Maybe I should offer more space. And that's how I evolve personally. Cause I'm, like you said last time, I'm always in contemplation. That's how I'm evolving. But I think everyone's going to kind of look different in how they evolve. Cause Mine's more contemplation. Other people might be more like a felt sense or something. Some people are more feelers, and I'm not.
Me neither. And to what you're saying, and what I think is so huge and a big part of what people are missing is you've been up at those high levels of knowing, and like you hit a point where it says, fuck, do I even want to interact with this world anymore? And it's not from like a suicidal perspective, but I've
Yeah, it's
seen
like, what
some
the fuck is the
people,
point of being here? Kind of thing.
yeah, and they get stuck there too. Like, in a lot of religion, oh, the rapture, just take me now. Like, I'm ready. I see everything. Let's go. Let's rapture. The problem is there's still a lot of shit going down on the ground level, and it's those that choose to truly embody, like, you're just going to leave everybody else. That's not, that kind of sucks. Like, that's, I mean, I get the feeling. I've been there, but why love thy neighbor? Like, hey buddy, let's.
Yeah. Well, I think people think that the end goal is to be like freaking enlightened and like all day and like get out of here, you know, with their consciousness. But that's not the fucking end, actually. That's kind of the beginning.
Yeah. The whole goal of this.
And you got to go up, and then you're like, fuck. Wait, I left everyone behind. Oh, shit, I got to go back. That's kind of like what we're doing right now. We're like, yeah, we could have left. We could have like gone off and run off into the sunset, you know, with our lives and all that.
I wanted my cabin.
Like, what's the point?
In the woods so bad. You know,
dude, that's what so many people want. Yeah.
And
yep.
It's okay. Well, what was the point of going through all that shit then?
Yep.
If I'm not going to take the altruistic path and come down, yeah, I might have to but that's beautiful. That's where you feel again. That's where you have that childlike emotion come back. I felt like there was a point in time where I didn't laugh for 3 fucking years, and that's no shit, son. Like,
I believe you, because that's exactly how I was. Is like everything's so serious in the way it's all presented.
So serious.
100%. But if you notice, like, even beings that are being channeled or whatever, they're too serious too. The ones that are like the higher level ones, they don't they're like jokesters. They're like
Loki.
They're like, hey, chill the fuck out, Melissa. Like,
yeah.
They're like, hey, you done freaking playing around? Are you ready to get back on track? Kind of thing. They like, it's like that tough love kind of thing. In a sense, not all of them, but like everyone has their own unique personality. And what people don't really grasp is that you're not any different once you're out of here. Right now, in this place in time, you are the highest version of you, period. You're the culmination of every single experience you've ever had. It's just clouded over right now. Like, you have access to it, but it's a matter of like unblocking your shit.
In a fucked up way, this is consciousness at its most pure form. Is the learning, is the experiencing, is like learning how to embody it. It's, if you look at it from a Matrix point of view, where, you know, this is a simulation and we go through this to harvest experience points, and, you know, we're given the gift of doing it blind. So everything is new. A smell that you've never smelled is still out there somewhere that is waiting for you to find it. A color, a flower, you know, an emotion might creep up on you, and oh, I haven't felt that since, I rode my bike without training wheels for the first time. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, kids are the perfect embodiment of like your soul's expression. Like young toddlers and stuff. They're like where they're just like laughing hysterically, they get over stuff really quick. They're just like if they get hurt, they cry about it and they let go of that emotion, they let it run through, and then it doesn't get stuck because they're actually feeling their emotions fully. And it's only when people come in with the program and they're like, boys don't cry, shut up, blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't be like this. You shouldn't say those things. It's only when our freedom of expression gets stunted that we start getting ill and that we start like falling asleep again or whatever. Or like,
I want to get tickled until I piss my pants again. Is that too much to ask?
Why do I feel the urge to be like, tickle, tickle?
But
bro, it's because I have toddlers.
I know. And I feel bad when my daughter, I'll tickle her sometimes, and it's just a whole body experience. And, crying, laughing, sometimes peeing your pants a little bit. Shit happens. And
dude, the past 2 days I've been like laughing like uncontrollably at certain moments.
That's a great thing. I have too.
It's new. Yeah.
I watched Patch Adams and I might have cried a little bit. That's a fucking sad movie. Like,
boys don't cry, Ryan.
I didn't for a long time, and that was fucking me up. Yeah. That was a block in my kundalini awakening.
Yeah.
And I had to release that, and I went through some hell. Everything that I have had to go through with court, being accused of all the things that I've been accused of, I didn't shed a fucking tear. I've lost friends, family members, dogs, cats, like, didn't shed a tear, and that was so bad for my psyche, so bad for my spirit, so bad for my heart, for my soul. And once I start that's why I had lupus and rheumatoid arthritis.
Stuck in there, it's stuck. Yeah.
I was internalizing it to the point where all that shit locked in.
Yeah.
When you can express yourself, and even when it comes to panic attacks, anxiety attacks, your body, your vagus nerve produces a chemical that's supposed to dump and put that out. And if you don't have the energy and fortitude to produce that chemical, that panic attack, that anxiety attack's going to win. And anybody who's had severe ones knows the damage that they cause. If you let those bastards hit, it's going to rock you. And I still have those feelings, but now I've learned, okay, I can go ground myself. I can experience this.
Yeah, you almost like relax your physical body and let it flow through. And like, I mean, there's so many ways to do it. I literally just walked someone through that like 2 days ago. And all they have to do is go to it in their mind, like create an image of it, of the panic attack. I mean, it's hard in the moment, but as you feel it come on before it's like fully blown, whatever, you look at it like its own character. And honestly, what a panic attack is a protector of an inner child. That's it. So when you start to recognize that your body is actually trying to protect you at all times and it's trying to help you, it's not attacking you, and you keep abandoning it by freaking trying to pop your pill to make it go away, or like fight yourself, or like, I fucking hate this, like that kind of stuff. You're compounding the problem big time. And it's not your fault though, because no one taught us this shit. Like, we're learning the hard way, unfortunately, but it's cool because our children, the next generation, they're going to be solid, man, because we're freaking roughing it now, but we were built for this shit.
Raw dogging it.
I know, for real. So, and that's honestly how I feel like so much of this has been. But I also kind of enjoyed the process of doing this alone because I don't like to be influenced by others, even though like yeah, I'll watch the videos and I'll read all the stuff, but I like to like come up to with my own conclusions about things. And I think that's was so valuable that I don't really like to talk to people and like have close friendships, and I didn't have like a community besides my husband who's like had his kind of awakening the same time I did, but he's always kind of been like awake in a sense of like none of this shit matters, you know? Like all that matters is the present. He's like always said this his whole life. He's always just had that stuff. So none of this really came as a surprise to him. But he was like the only person that I would bounce things off of. And he was always like kind of my grounding space. But it's important to actually do a lot on your own, as long as you're not getting lost in the sauce, and staying any place too long. Mm-hmm. As long as you're like continuously working past things and like you can call it integrating them or denying them. Like, I like that. Let me pull that in. Nope, don't like that. That process is very sacred. It's like it's uniquely you, and it's important to do that yourself. But Absolutely. It's also important to recognize when you need to reach out for the community, for that sense of community, which is why we're here. Because we're like, yo, you guys shouldn't have to freaking suffer through this. Like, let's kind of like add some clarity and some groundedness to this to help you understand that it's not fucking like love and light, and you don't have to freaking wear like certain like cloth and all this shit and drink certain things and do certain rituals to do this. You literally just fucking do your thing.
I will say linen is pretty badass. Like,
oh, that's the word I was looking at. I was like, you don't fucking wear linen. I'm gonna wear my Walmart shitty plastic shirt.
Have you tried linen lately?
No, I have not, actually. I just don't like ironing, man. God.
Well, but what you said at Walmart, that shirt that I was wearing last week, the one with the little hoodie, was a $14 Wrangler linen hoodie, like from Walmart. And I love them.
Right, and you're wearing it's interesting you're wearing a Whataburger hat too, because all that shit's like straight up. I don't even need to go into it, but yeah. So
trash.
That's
like in the best possible way.
It's like it's not even like real food, and it could actually be other things that we don't even need to go into. But
if you know,
but that's a perfect example of like, you know what? I know it, and I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna let anything outside of me determine what I like, what I don't like, what resonates with me, what doesn't, all those things. And it's important to like stay true to yourself, and learn those things.
And going back to the childhood thing, you know why I like these hats? Because I like the combination of baby blue and orange. Like,
isn't that like the dolphins colors?
Yeah, kind of. But theirs is more of an aquamarine, I'd say.
We can send you some dolphins gear.
I'm all right. But
it's kind of the same thing, actually. It's part of the system.
The programming is
sports, yeah. But it's like, I know it's programming, but I fucking like how it looks, you know? You're just like, fuck you to the system. Like,
yeah, but
I'm gonna rock it for my own reasons. Yeah.
And you don't have to be so damn attached to it. You can be like where it controls the way you behave and you act. Like, I love the Astros. Did they cheat in 2017? Maybe a little, but everybody else was fucking cheating too. Get off your fucking high horse, guys. Like, I'm sorry. They got rings. You don't. Like, and it prevented the stupid fucking Dodgers you know, freaking dynasty that's coming, you know. And the bastards took Kyle Tucker, and sorry to get off in this tangent, they were bitching about cheating. Hey, you're a baseball mom. You should know this.
Dude,
you know,
I don't know.
you...
No, I don't know any of that stuff. My husband does. He literally is like a freaking bottomless pit of random fucking information. Like, take him to trivia, dude. He'll freaking... Maybe... Well, I won't say every question, but...
Maybe if you sat with those other baseball moms and had those conversations, you would know, Melissa. God.
But the problem is I don't remember names of things. And I've been thinking about this. I'm like, why the fuck don't I remember people's names? Why don't I remember this and why don't I remember that? History, dates, like none of that stuff sticks in my head for some reason. And I'm like, that's by design. So it's not about, like, ultimately what I've discovered, you know, throughout the past couple of years is like, what awakening is you get through this process, you change everything about yourself, and then you end up coming right back to yourself again. Because there's no escaping you. It's about embracing the current you, exactly who you are, and not changing, because you're already there. You already have every single thing that you need. It's just a matter of like uncluttering, declouding or whatever, and unblocking, and then letting that express through you in a more cohesive way rather than
authentic.
Yeah. You basically just deprogram is what it is. Update your system and deprogram, or to get the bugs out is what it is.
Here's a
like we're computers,
wake up,
basically.
Grow up, clean up, show up.
This is a perfect segue. Like, Ryan has come up with these really cool ways to like simplify the journey or whatever. So like, because it's so nuanced, you can get lost in it. You could hit plateaus. You can have, you can get really frustrated during the process, angry, all these things. And we're like, okay, how do we actually help people in a simple way to help them stay grounded enough to where they can get through these things and not have to suffer throughout the process? Because we don't want to have you skip steps, but it's like sometimes people loop when they don't need a loop. They can just move forward, but they just are missing a little bit of information to break out of that fucking spiral that they're in, the tornado. So the 12 things that we covered last episode is kind of like going into the different aspects of yourself that you can tap into and refine at any point in time. If you hit like a plateau, or like you're like, let's work on my expansion, my growth or whatever. And some people like the structure. They need the structure. They need that, like, all right, what am I doing? What am I aiming for? They need that right now. And you may not always need that as you evolve, but like maybe in the beginning you need more structure. So that's what the 12 things were for last time.
And if you really want to throw it back, we talked about the system and structures we grew up in and how wrong they are, but they're still a part of us. Doing something like this is how we're told to process information. Oh, take this and follow this step and then regurgitate it.
Right. It's like it feels more natural, or it feels more comfortable to have a framework to
because that's our programming.
Yeah. So some people don't need that structure anymore because they're like, no, I got it. I'm tapped into my intuition. I follow what feels right. But some other people are at different stages. And so it's kind of like how I view awakening is you're climbing rungs on a ladder. And as you climb the next rung, you can see more and more and more. And it's not that you're better than anyone. We're all the fucking same, but some of us are just like higher up on the rungs than others because some of us started earlier, or some of us just go through things faster because we've learned those lessons already, or the way that we're framing them, it's like, all right, got it, next. Where other people choose to just like chill there for a while. And there's no wrong way at all. to go up the rungs. And sometimes you'll fall back down on the rungs too. Because maybe you have to go get someone.
Yeah.
And
sometimes life just comes at you fast, like.
Yeah. And during that process of climbing on the rungs, each time you're going to be going through loops. You're going to be there to learn a lesson of some sort, and it's going to take you closer and closer back to yourself, and alchemize the stuff the gunk that's in the way from you seeing yourself clearly. And when you're looping around with your external experience, you might have to repeat the loop a couple times. Like, say you get back with like a same toxic kind of person, and you're like, how the fuck did I find myself in this situation again? That's what I mean by loops. When you're like, how did this happen again? This always happens to me. You'll loop around until you learn certain lessons, and then once you learn it, you like move up a rung. It's not quite that clean, but that's kind of the concept. Well, so
another way to look at it, okay, video game levels. Yeah. If you can't pass a level, you have to attack it differently each time until you get past. And it's an ever progressing, especially some video games where they're very structured. You have to complete certain tasks in certain ways, and multiple ways can accomplish the same goal. You just have to be more creative, and they program it to be harder, or easy levels at the beginning, and they get progressively harder. And you don't necessarily, unless you're, back in the 80s and 90s like us, in the fucking Mario games where you run out of lives, you have to go all the way back to the beginning.
Dude, yeah. Well, at least it's not that bad. Although if you die, that is what happens.
Yeah,
so
reincarnation.
If you're considering the leaving this place permanently thing, just know
you'll be right back.
You have to start back. You'll have to start back at level 1, which you might actually work through faster sometimes because you've already been there before. And I think that's how I understand climbing the rungs really quickly. It's not a race by any means, but it's like some people do have to be ahead of others so they could be like leading the way. Like, hey, I did it this way. Maybe this will help you. And that's kind of like what we're doing. We're trying to reach the people that are maybe like a rung or two below us and then we're like, hey, take my hand, kind of thing. Like, no, don't look over there. Don't fucking look over there.
And
take my hand.
This
kind of thing.
This whole process is not linear. And, we have 5, the way we're framing all of this, there's 5 attributes of a spiritual awakening. It's the initial seeking, the initial awakening. Like, that's where small talk feels like bullshit. You don't everything sounds like shit.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, is this all there is, man? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Then there must be more.
There's the somatic activation. Okay, that's feeling and trying to start sorting out, why does all this feel like shit? Why is this not resonating with me anymore? And starting to work through, like,
I read that and I was like, what does that actually mean? Because I'm not really a feeler, but like, I obviously feel things.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like, that feels off in my session. I don't like how that made me feel.
Don't run away from the feeling.
Thoughts. Yeah. Yeah, it's more like, what happens to me is like, if I have a bad day, or like I'm ruminating on something, it's usually because there was like a crack that happened during the day of like insecurity or something like that. And then because I didn't sit with it at the time, the thoughts are like coming through the crack. And I have to basically go look at like, all right, where's the crack at? And like fill it. But in order to find it, you have to get quiet and be like, okay, where do I feel it coming in? And like, I'm not really a feeler. I'm more like let me talk this out. And then I'm like, oh yeah. Okay. And then maybe it integrates while I'm sleeping. I don't really know how that works, but the next day I'll wake up and feel a lot better.
Well, and a lot of integration does happen during sleep and dreams, just like sleep heals our bodies, it heals your soul too. It can. And, I had to do it more raw dog because there was a while where I didn't dream. So I had to do it the hard way by living in all my feelings. And I was, like we talked last episode, being military, you're trained to not associate with feelings more than the average person. And being in some aspects of, you have to be separated from your feelings even more depending on what your job is in the military, because the likelihood of you having to, come to grips with some very unhuman type stuff, those odds get a little higher. And this leads perfectly into, after somatic activation, is the dark night of the soul.
I want to pause back to somatic activation real quick, because something just came in. It's kind of like, the way I see it is like, oh, I have a body. Besides like sexual desires and pain.
Yeah.
It's almost like tuning into like the nuanced, like, oh, I notice my heart races when this happens, or like, because I never really realized until I started learning about somatic therapy, was like, I never really realized that I didn't ever connect to my body before that. Before I ever became a therapist, like even in the military, I never thought about my body ever, besides like when I'm like, fuck, I'm hungover. Oh my God, my head hurts or something like that. Or like I'm tired, or just like complaints. But it was never like,
I was going to say, how fast can I run this 2 mile before I can get back to my pack of Marlboro Lights?
100%. Yeah. It's like, we just like push our bodies to the limit and like trash them. And how I view our bodies, our vessels, is like our vehicle. It's like a freaking Lamborghini. And it's like, how are you driving your Lamborghini? Yeah. Like, how are you driving this thing? Are you freaking, do you know how to drive stick? Because you're fucking everything. You're burning out your clutch. Yeah. So that's kind of how I view it. And so we like rev it, whatever, we like just burn it to the ground. But like, there's a point to where you become aware of your body. You're like, wait, I noticed that. I felt this way in this moment. And I think that's kind of maybe what the somatic activation or whatever is talking about.
And so, to what you're saying, and after we got off the phone last night, and we'll get into this in the second hour here, but in the last episode, we talked about my awakening being a sudden. And
you're gonna need to elaborate on that, because I didn't even know what the fuck how deep that actually went until you told me later, and I was like, oh, you need to share that.
Yeah, so sudden and dramatic, and this aligns with like a sudden kundalini, and my entire experience was fucking kundalini. And part of the somatic, after we were talking about it last night, I was like, okay, let me move my energy around. So I got off the call with you. I was sitting right here, and I turned off my lights. I just sat back in my chair, put it, where is this? Here. Well, where I can recline. And I just got calm. I started doing breath work. To ground myself, I did the 4-7-8. And then what I started to do, I saw this in a...
Tell them what 4-7-8 is. Okay, some people have never done breath work.
This calms the vagal nerve.
What's the vagal nerve?
The vagus system.
What's the vagus system? Sorry. I'm trying to get to like the people who are like the first time they're ever hearing about this shit.
And so the polyvagal theory is that there's one nerve in our spine that goes all the way down, basically to your root, or, you know, your root chakra. It's what touches that, your feet, your hands, what you can ground yourself with. And it goes all the way down, and it connects to all your other chakras going up to your
now
crown.
We gotta talk about chakras, because you just fucking mentioned them.
I know. And
well, not right now. We'll do it later.
Yeah. But it's all connected, and that's kind of the point where so many people have parts of this. And my goal has been to take all of these fractured parts, like we were talking about in the first episode, the medical silos, where they gatekeep fucking information, and out of scarcity, it's like, why are we doing that? They're all fucking connected. This is all connected. We're all connected. Let's start fucking acting like we're all connected and cut the bullshit and get down into the core of it. And
but they almost gotta reach that place as like, okay, well, we're here, we're at the top, but like, oh shit, we left everyone behind. Let's go back. It's kind of like what's going to have to happen at a systematic level as well.
And we're getting there. So part of all that, and part of kundalini breaking through, is each kundalini basically has to have its own dark night of the soul. To advance, to pass the level, you have to beat that dark night. So, and the dark night, that's when all your demons, like all your feelings, you're like, oh no, what, to get rid of this, I felt this and I don't want it a part of me, I have to shed. So you go into your cocoon, you go into your dark night, and this is what Melissa was talking about earlier, the part that is intended to be done alone, to a point. You know, you have to go in, it's going inside of yourself to really figure out how to unkink these pathways.
It's like facing your fears, what it is. It's like, it's a process of surrender. It's the process of like addressing all your fears. But this is where a lot of people get stuck, actually. But first, before we move forward, I don't want to hop around too much. Let's get into kundalini right after we finish covering because we also mentioned the 4 other things. So we're like, let ADHD brains two together, fucking, we're gonna be all over the place, but the ADHDers will be able to keep track.
And we'll circle back for so the next, when you come out of the dark night of the soul, you have to integrate, and y'all are all about.
But you're covering the 5 right now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Did I mess up?
No, you're good. So I just lost track.
Seeking, somatic, the dark night, integration, in the final step is embodied service. So that's where you come back around and you share your experience. Oh shit,
I left everyone. Okay.
Yeah. So, and yeah, and the 4, the first, and here's Bob. Guys.
Wait, slow down. Oh, I didn't know you had a cat.
It's
you got
Bob.
An orange gingy. You got a ginge.
I do.
Aw.
So
sweet. I want to, before we move to the 4 things, the other things, I want to just kind of solidify the 5 that we just covered a little bit, and let me see if I can kind of capture it real quick. And the reason that I lost track is because I'm a visual person. I like to see it and I like map it out or whatever. So we got seeking. So this is what happens in the path to awakening in a nutshell, right? This is what you're saying.
And it's not linear. You can jump from one to the other. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you got seeking, which is like, there's got to be more. What the fuck? And people can stay there for years too, of like just hating life. And people actually, end up ending their game because they never move out of that space. And there's usually like a catalyst that moves you out of that space. Like for me, it was just like watching Tartaria videos. ironically enough, the reason that we even started watching those videos was because my husband got a pamphlet at the playground from this guy named Jesus. No joke.
Hey, sis?
And I'm not joking. And like, we're not even religious or anything. And so he's like, he's getting this little pamphlet and he's like, hey, I'm not religious or anything. But the guy's like, oh, no, here you go. And it was titled like Water of Life. And like, it had certain like words on it or something. And then my husband was like, that's interesting because I just came across like a video titled something like this. And then he was like, do you want to watch this tonight? And I was like, sure. And then we just sat down and we started watching it, and that was the catalyst to both of us, our awakening journey of just like, wait, what? There's so much more? Like there's how do we not know? Wait, it just makes you ask questions of like, it piques your curiosity. You're like, wait. And you might start going down rabbit holes a little bit during this phase. And then the second one is what? The somatic. Of like, oh, I have a body?
Feeling.
Oh, okay. There's more to my body than just like the primitive shit. There's a lot going on here. And we start becoming aware of how we're interacting with our environment, with our body. Is how I'm understanding it. Okay.
Yeah. So
third,
and you're seeking.
Go ahead.
And you're seeking, like when you were seeking the Tartaria, it didn't scare you. Like, and you felt it in your body. You weren't getting anxiety because you were thinking about it. Like, oh.
It more so like piqued my interest and excited me. I was like, no fucking way. And the most frustrating thing about the whole journey of like when I first started learning everything, it was probably like the first 4 months. I would want to share it with everybody, and no one gave a shit. No, I was like, so yo, how am I telling you about this and you're not asking one question? That blows my mind, dude.
NPC.
So I know, right? But it's really frustrating when it's like your loved ones. Like when I went out of body, which I will explain at some point. When I went out of body, I told my sister, like, I was like, you have no idea what I'm dealing with here. Like, I literally just learned that we don't die. And I was like crying in her office, and she was like, I forgot what she said. And this is no hate to my sister. Like, she's just kind of like on the ground level still of the rungs of the ladder. No, not really. She's actually a little bit up more, I would say, of her awareness, conscious awareness of how much more there is to this reality. But she said something like, hey, I have how much longer is this going to be? Or something like that. Like, I got to get to a patient or something. It's like we shared like a workspace. And I was like, I'm literally telling you, we don't die. And you don't want to know anything. And I'm like, oh no. So I had to like come to terms that like no one gives a fuck about your awakening journey if they haven't experienced anything like that yet. So just know that that's like kind of to be expected with the people who are still sleeping is kind of what we call it.
And that's in a nutshell the discourse we're trying to create here. We're trying to create a space where we say, hey, we get it. Your wildest and craziest thing, if you need somebody to throw that out to, fucking throw it to us. Like,
yeah, dude. Because like the number one thing that helps people in my sessions, because I just naturally get people who are right on the edge of awakening. And I'm like, wow, look at that, you know? And I'm just right ahead of them. Like, just sometimes even a week ahead of something that we're integrating. And I just go through it first. And then I'm like, wow, you're bringing this up today? Interesting, because I just integrated this like 2 days ago. So, but the number one thing that helps them is by like, nah, dude, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. And they're like, I'm not. Like, and they still need some, like, sometimes they're like not convinced that they're not crazy because they're still working through their programming. But as long as I'm holding a steady, like, you're not crazy, validating their experience and like sharing my own.
You're waking up.
And that, yeah, you're not crazy, you're waking up. But that's true. And that reframe alone can change everything for you.
Does wonders.
And we will cover this in the whole kundalini research. But so, okay, so we got seeking.
Somatic.
It's because I haven't seen it. Seeking, somatic, and then we got the third, which is the
dark night.
Okay, dark night of the soul, which we'll go into that with the kundalini thing too. Everyone's is going to look different than others, and you could bounce back in and out of dark night, which is basically like kind of. I understand my dark night as, we're like, fuck, what's the point of any of this? Like, I how the fuck am I going to be a therapist? Like, everything I ever known is just like a wit, just that kind of thing is like, who am I? Like, I don't even know what matters. And it's just kind of like you're destabilized and your foundation has just crumbled. So that's how I understand Dark Knight. And your identity crumbles, your everything crumbles. But then you come to remember what's true and real. But you first have to like kind of start from scratch almost.
Yeah. And you have to break through the plaque. You have to create the energy to break through and ground yourself and integrate that new part, because it's going to be different than it was before. That's the whole point of coming or going through a dark night and coming out the other side.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same. So you have to take that and you have to integrate it. You have to ground it and say, okay, this is my reality now.
Right.
And, I don't want to go back, because I can go back to the somatic and say, okay, I feel better in this integrated version of myself than I did previously. So this is for me. And you stick. Okay, you cling on to it. This is me now. And then the next time you come across something that, okay, you're getting that anxiety again, you're going to have to go back into the dark night to figure out what's giving you that anxiety. And then you find it, you shed it, integrate it, ground it, and you go back to seeking somatic and find the next one. And
I kind of feel I kind of view those as like compression. It's like compress you, go inward, and you're like, okay, let me sit with this, and then once you integrate it, you burst out into expansion again, and then you have more experiences that then reveal more layers that you're going to need to. And I don't even know if I want to call it shedding, because it's more so like alchemizing. And like even your demons, you don't actually get rid of them, they transform. And they become your team. Yeah, they're your team. They're just bogged down with distortion right now because there's trauma encoded all over that shit. So that's why it's important to do your shadow work. But I think that's why I'm kind of like in the place that I'm in, like as a trauma therapist, because I'm helping people through that when they get stuck in the process of, we're going to cover the kundalini stuff in a second, but they get stuck in certain spots of their awakening. And sometimes you just need a little guidance to help you get out of those spaces. Like everybody needs that at certain points, even me. Like I'm literally learning from my clients. It's like a symbiotic relationship. And it's beautiful. And sometimes I'm like, fuck, they should be paying, or I should be paying them. Sometimes. But I won't tell them that. If you're watching this and you're my client, you can call me on it. Call me on our next session. Maybe I'll get discount it. Let's go into the kundalini stuff, because Ryan is great at bringing in the sciencey research to validate our spiritual experiences, because let's be honest, that's how we are programmed. Like, it's hard to just trust the woo-woo shit. And like, I don't know how many times I'm like, do I really fucking know what I'm talking about? because a lot of times I just go off of my claircognizance, which is just my knowing. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. You know, and I have like no way of knowing if it is or not. And so
Woman's
I question
intuition.
that. I'm like, yeah, but I'm constantly questioning, like, wait, am I actually? Do I fucking know what I'm talking about? So and that's part of like the 5 steps that we just talked about, of like how you can go back and forth of like, am I fucking crazy? Am I losing my fucking mind? And I do that so many times, back and forth, back and forth. No matter how much I progress up the ladder, I still drop sometimes and I climb right back up. Sometimes it's very brief, like 5 minutes. Sometimes it's a day. Sometimes it's like 3 days. Whatever. So Ryan sent me some research, and I didn't even know that there was research on this stuff, like how they're actually studying kundalini. Explain.
Okay, so there's been a few researchers out there that have kind of touched on, okay, kundalini is a true phenomenon. And when I say phenomenon, it does exist. And it's not just some woo-woo thing. We are energy beings, and kundalini is simply the most fleshed out representation of an awakening. They're all the same thing, and many different societies have similar, if not identical, paths to awakening. They just call things different. There's different and so kundalini is part of polyvagal theory. You're rising up through the chakras. What connects all that? Your damn spinal cord. And
well, let's talk about what a kundalini is first before we go in, because like people may not have never heard of that.
It's an awakening. It's just one form, one representation of kundalini, and it's broken down into chakras, 7 chakras. And you have your root, you have your solar plexus, you have your core,
your sacral. So I'm good with the chakras, man. I call them chakras. Very Western. Root, sacral. You got your solar plexus, your heart chakra, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. There's more. There's a lot more, but these are just like the main energy. I call them energy centers. It's like much more like, I don't know,
grounded.
easy way to, yeah, it's like grounded. And I gotta get all lost in the sauce. But what I was leaning towards, as far as like what is kundalini, whatever, it's like I would call it your, I don't know if it's called like your life force energy, but like basically there's a storage at the base of your spine, right? A storage of what?
Coiled snake energy is basically how kundalini frames it. It's a coiled snake at the bottom of your spine, and that's the energy. In a coiled snake, that's just all potential energy ready to become kinetic. And there's a couple, there could be, it's part kind of goes back to the natural, gradual, and spontaneous awakening that we've been talking about. Like,
yeah, we talked about that episode 2 if you want to go back and check that out.
And all of these can be pathways to a kundalini, to igniting that energy. Like a natural, that energy just kind of builds in your system, and it on its own. You have to keep it in within and do some work. But if it has the time to gradually go up through your body, and you embrace it and you embody it and you integrate
then
it,
it won't feel like a jolt. It
Bingo.
won't feel like so dramatic. Because my understanding of kundalini, because I never heard of it before until like maybe a year ago, was like, because you get like inundated with fucking information. So I was like, okay, it's an oil at the base of your spine and it rises up. I heard like the energy at the base of your spine, it rises up. But either way, from my understanding of kundalini awakenings, it's like very fucking dramatic, like jolt. Like people wake up in the middle of the night and they're like, their bodies are just like contorting in all these crazy positions, and they're like crying, have random orgasms, like all crazy shit. And
those aren't
having
fun.
visions.
I mean,
and
they are and they aren't. Like,
and then the reason
bizarre.
for the orgasms is like what you feel. And this is I've understood this is like orgasmic energy is creator energy. That's what it feels like. That's what creation feels like.
That's what you're doing. You are.
Yeah.
An orgasm is supposed to lead to fucking creation.
Yeah, but when you're like, I imagine that's what source feels like when you're like integrated with source again. It's orgasmic energy. It feels like an orgasm, but it's constant. And so when we're having an orgasm, it's just like it feels like we remember that, and then we associate it with all our programming. And then we want more and more and more and more. But we don't realize like we could get that without another human. We can get that within ourselves and tap into that. But so my understanding was like you have the initial activation. It's usually like a jolt, which apparently it's not. You can integrate it as you go slowly. And
it can
when
be a
the
jolt
occurs, you could get like everything fucking opens and you get flooded information, emotions, the traumas come up, like all kinds of crazy shit. And then it lasts for like, it comes in waves maybe like after that, where you like can get hot flashes, like freaking random, like, and it can feel like you're going crazy. And this is why we're talking about kundalini.
Absolutely.
Because especially when you have a sudden awakening like that, and people will do this through like, let me do kundalini yoga. Let me like fucking watch this TikTok video and do this breath work for kundalini activation. And they're not quite at a place to where they can ground what's going to come in. So
no.
And if they're not properly supported during that experience, you could stay looping. And I've seen people come in. Luckily, they get to me and I know what the fuck is going on, at least to where I'm not like being like, you're schizophrenic, you know? But that's a lot of people in the freaking psych wards, I would say all of them, and are experiencing kundalini stuck energy. And this is kind of what Ryan showed me today in like his research.
Yeah. And
so go ahead,
absolutely. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to touch on here is a lot of this time, a lot of these diagnoses that we're given, that we attach to, we give our energy to, is simply kundalini energy moving and getting stuck. Like, and
think about it. And I want to point on this, like when you experience a strong emotion, you'll feel it in your body. And that's where a blockage is. Like, think about a child. I literally was thinking about this today. My 3-year-old was crying because he hit his head. And I'm like, look at him moving that energy through his body, moving those emotions through, not storing them, not holding them. He's letting it out.
Somatic.
And then it's good 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very children.
They intuitively know exactly what to do. And we fucked ourselves with all the programming. But so yeah, go ahead, Ryan, into like why it's so important for people to know about what you kind of came across.
Okay, so your energy gets stuck in one area and you're avoiding the dark night. You're constantly back and forth from the seeking to somatic. You're seeking feeling, and you're stuck in this ping pong battle between those two, not willing to go into the dark night. You start going into the dark night, which presents itself a lot like depression and,
Demons
isolation. Yeah, it's all a matter of how you frame it. It can be, and it's all valid.
Right.
Like, it's just what you attach. And, if you aren't willing to go into that dark night and do the work and, come out and integrate, you're going to stay stuck there, until you do. And that's not a question of if. You can ignore, okay, but so you ignore the mental and it starts to manifest in your body. And the biggest thing that I found recently is once that knot, if you don't loosen that knot and that energy can't go anywhere, it starts to land in your fascia.
It starts to seep out through through connected network.
And
that's how your emotions travel, through your fascia.
In my experience, it started to present itself as autoimmune. Like in my final, however you want to put it, breakthrough, where I'm not experiencing those. Like I'll have many little, like last week we talked about being a little off, but it was on purpose. We boot and rallied and we integrated really fast, and we're back at it. We're flowing now.
Yeah, like so people understand, like last episode we felt out of sync and there was something happening. And so we could have easily been like, something's trying to attack us and stop us from doing this work and blah, 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 blah. But we didn't frame it like that. So maybe that could be true. But instead we're like, okay, what feels wrong in my body here? Like, what do I need to express? What do I need to address? What do I need to blah, 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 blah. And we alchemized that shit within 2 days. Yeah, fucking, we got it.
Do the work.
Yeah, like basically it had to be expressed, and then we have to, because we've done our shadow work, it doesn't become dramatic and a huge issue. Like when we talk about what feels off or like whatever, we don't take shit personally. Or if you if we do, we can like instantly shift it within us.
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying?
And like, we've recently met, but we've been very open with each other this whole time, and that's why this works. Yeah. And the more open we are, like, we both knew, and we took our little time to ourselves, and I came, hey, sorry, Melissa, I was in a funk. I did my thing, and I got myself jacked up a little bit in the process, and I had to go through some things. I had to go back into the dark night a little bit and pull some shit out, integrate, and we both came out with some amazing, into the wilderness.
For sure.
And we both came out with some pretty great stuff. You did videos and I came out with the fucking kundalini shit. Like,
yeah. And also like we got closer in the process as well. But yeah, so it's all about how you frame the bad shit that happens, or like the uncomfortable shit that happens. It's like, okay, instead of running away from it, lean in, address it. The thing that is most uncomfortable to do is likely the thing you need to do. When stuff starts going off the rails, it's usually the thing you fear, the thing you're uncomfortable with, or like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's likely the thing you need to do. But okay. So how I'm understanding the kundalini stuff is like you have this energy at the base of your spine, and then naturally through your awakening journey, if you take the natural path or even the gradual, it'll like slowly move up the spine through your energy centers, and ideally you will be doing your shadow work during this process, which is basically alchemizing the dense emotions that are stuck in the fascia and stuck in like blocking these energy centers from flowing more freely, and emitting the frequency that they're spinning, you can call it, like at the speed of which they're supposed to spin, or the direction they're supposed to spin, whatever, however you fucking want to view it. It starts flowing through, but at some points it might get blocked. So, and how I imagine these blockages, because I've actually worked with this in my sessions through, I've done all kinds of different shit, explored a bunch of different things to help people with these blocks, but there's so many different ways and angles of viewing it. But how I see this is usually it's unresolved trauma. And it's the stuff that people don't want to address or look at. And the things that I read about Ryan, it was talking about like there's three main places that the knot will appear. And it's usually in your sacral, or your root sacral. It's kind of like in between, I imagine.
Your lower, your mid, and upper.
Gotcha. So root or sacral. So your root, and these are the chakras that we're talking about. So your root represents your stability and your trust and your ability to feel safe in this world and with yourself. So in grounded. So there are specific traumas that can occur that can block or like create a lot of density within this area if those traumas were never addressed in a safe way, like in safe by meaning emotionally safe for you to explore. And so that could be like losing your home through like a fire or like some sort of trauma that is life threatening, maybe like a natural disaster, or your parents divorce and your foundation crumbles and you're like, I have no idea, like what, my world's unpredictable, I don't know what to expect, I'm scared of like of things, whatever, or I don't trust anybody because I've been betrayed over and over, stuff like that. So then you move up to the sacral, and that's where we get issues with mom, issues with being a mom. We got sexual trauma, issues with your creativity, could have been attacked, stunted. There's like different kind of things that can target these areas. And then you move up to the solar plexus, which is like your sense of self or like your confidence. And a lot of men will have issues here that I've seen. And the men, and I say men because like just society like forces men to be strong, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, it's all shame-based stuff. But either way, it's basically like, I feel worthless as a human if I don't do XYZ, if I don't show up as a man in this way, or like support my family, or you know, if I'm crying or whatever it is. So that'll be like in the solar plexus. It's your sense of self, it's your confidence. So if you've been bullied, stuff like that, your identity gets torn apart. And then you move up to the heart. That's where you got grief. That's where you got heartache, heartbreak. People you love pass. It's not processed properly. And also self-abandonment can live there as well. Times where you completely abandon yourself, and that'll be stuck in the heart space too. Like going against your values. I would consider moral injury to be in this category as well. Doing things that are against your moral code. And I think a lot of PTSD ties into the heart space.
That's huge for veterans, and a lot of veterans get stuck in the heart space because, you know, you're asked to do things that don't resonate with your body necessarily. You're doing it out of duty, you know, sense of honor, this, that, and the other. We frame things to ourselves like, hey, this is why we're doing it. And a lot of times it's, you know, systems are going to create it as some sort of existential crisis that, you know, oh, we have to react to. 9/11 was the reason I joined, you know, and, you know, served my country, and I justified it to myself. And even more now when we're seeing all the shit that's going on around us, like how manipulated was fucking I? And that's not to say that I would go back and change a single fucking thing that I did. It doesn't invalidate my feelings in that moment. I'm proud of that version of myself, you know, where I was in that point that I made that call. I wouldn't be where I am now if I wouldn't have answered that call. Does it make everything that I did right? No.
So we don't want to like bypass those emotions, the shame, the guilt, all that stuff. And it could also be like you had to do things like, for example, if you worked in a prison in the Middle East, you likely had to do some shit that you don't agree with. Or if you had to target children, stuff like that, that'll eat away at your heart. Because you, and the reason it eats away at your heart is because that's not you. It never was you. And so there's this internal battle going on, like your body, like, has done something that goes against, or your program did something that your soul doesn't align with. And there's this, like, it's stuck. So that's what happens in the heart space. And it's a great way to view PTSD, of like, it's heartbreak. Your heart is just broken. So then you move up to the throat, which your throat is your voice. So your voice could either be overactive or underactive, depending on how you have adapted to protect yourself. But basically your voice is like, shut up, don't speak, no one wants to hear you, you're too much, you're not important, what you have to say doesn't matter, or your needs aren't as important as others, so don't express your needs. So a lot of men, I just say men because I work with a lot of men as the military stuff, men will hold back how they really feel about things, especially in intimate relationships, because they don't want to burden their partner with their own shit. So they'll hold back on their real feelings or emotions or needs and stuff like that. So when you're not expressing these needs, when you want to speak up but you don't, it'll start building in the throat. It'll get stuck there. But yeah, it's linked to these traumas related to your voice and speaking up. But then also you have the people that if they drink and they get real nasty and they start like fucking saying those mean shit, and or maybe they don't have to drink for that. That's a throat thing. Throat trauma or voice trauma. Your ability to speak in a connected way with your heart. Then you move to the third eye, which is your intuition, your connectedness to your inner landscape, your inner canvas. And this, people who have had a lot of indoctrination with religion or like religious trauma will fuck up your third eye. And it's also when you lose trust in yourself through other traumas. So one trauma can affect multiple places. Like how could I put myself in that situation? I'm so stupid. Third eye. It's like your intuition, and you can't trust it anymore. And so if that's all gunked up in that area, it's going to cloud. It's going to feel cloudy. You could have like fogginess and not clear thinking, lacking clarity, stuff like that. And it can distort your intuitive psychic senses as well. And you'll see things in a more distorted way that's very fear-based. So like scary shit versus beautiful things. And then you got your crown, which is your connection to more outside of yourself. It's like the dogma stuff, like beliefs. Like for example, if you're
trauma. You know.
Ooh, the new term you just introduced to me.
Yeah, and that's where everything that you're feeling is invalidated by systems, like a diagnosis,
the bigger picture outside of you.
Yeah, a diagnosis you're given,
gaslit basically.
Diagnoses put you in a box when the reality is everything that Melissa just said. If you get a blockage somewhere, there's a good chance it leads to something called kundalini syndrome. And kundalini syndrome is, bless you.
I've actually questioned why we say bless you. Sorry, off track. And I'm like, energetically speaking, when you sneeze, I feel like you create a gap or a fracture in your biofield. And I think saying bless you actually like somehow curses you in a negative way.
No.
If you frame it that way, or if that's what you believe. But I'm like, well, if most of this reality is backwards and upside down, then saying bless you would likely be something negative, and it's be less you.
No. So that's why you say gesundheit, right?
Or you just be like, what do I say?
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, dude, honestly, that's what I heard about cuss words is they actually interrupt the spells.
Should we make it a thing? Like if somebody sneezes, tell them to go fuck themselves? Because hey, when you think about it, sneezes are little mini orgasms, going back to the spontaneous orgasming thing. Hey.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something to be explored there. And there's also a reason why we clap. There's a reason why we clap at games and stuff too. Like when we cheer, there's a reason why we're clapping, and I feel like we're creating holes in our biofield briefly. And so I don't know. That's just some random ADHD thought that I wanted to
get to.
So if anyone has any ideas about clapping and sneezes,
yeah, and
let us know.
The fuck?
Yeah, like, what the fuck? How has the system completely tried to fuck us there too? Okay, continue.
Hijacking. So Kundalini
syndrome.
Kundalini syndrome is cluster of intense, often overwhelming physical, sensory, motor, autonomic, emotional, and perceptual symptoms that arise when the dormant primal energy awakens spontaneously or through practices and rises unevenly. So when this happens and that energy gets stuck for too long, at first you feel like you're going crazy. Like it's a lot of...
Did this happen to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, you said that because you had lupus and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. But the first step is your mind. Like it goes because your mind's processing it, and you get told like, hey, this is anxiety, this is depression, this is borderline personality disorder, this is
right,
complex.
and this is where it's affecting your crown too. Like, am I crazy? They're telling me I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's shoving all that, any potential down, and it's keeping it boxed up. So what I found when it's stagnant too long, it starts manifesting in your body, and there is a 85 to 90% overlap in symptoms between Kundalini syndrome and autoimmune disorders. All fucking autoimmune disorders. So here's where...
Is MCAS autoimmune disorder? Mast cell activation syndrome?
Yeah, that's part of
Mast cell. Okay.
And those are all connected.
I've just been hearing a lot about that in POTS and stuff like that. Like
POTS is autoimmune, and I'm going to touch on what parts of the fucking chakra that if that energy gets stuck in, what that's going to manifest
be
as.
Your map, guys. Because like if you do suffer with an autoimmune disease, which stuck energy,
nobody really...
Let's just frame it. Let's just frame it like that still do your normal, as a fucking disclaimer, do your normal medical, whatever the fuck you're supposed to do. However, it's very helpful to reframe it this way, because this could be your map of like, oh shit, I had a trauma like that and I've never processed that. It might be your kind of like guiding compass to help lift that out and ungunk it, kind of thing.
So take everything that Melissa just talked about with what traumas are associated with each chakra, and then for entertainment purposes,
also narcissistic abuse would be solar plexus. Yeah,
we'll touch on that. So
and probably throat too. Sorry.
Root chakra is associated with rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, joints inflammation, and that's being ungrounded in fear, anger. And a lot of times you're going to feel that arthritis most heavily in your fingers and your feet and your joints. So grounding is a root chakra base. So if you go ground yourself a little bit, it's very good for releasing that energy and letting it start to flow more evenly. because it's a buildup.
Yeah, and grounding, like barefoot outside, or if you can't, or you can touch a tree kind of thing. Also, you can imagine it. Imagine roots growing out of your feet and transferring that energy into the ground.
It's not perfect
into the earth,
but in a space, if in an emergency, if you can't,
bro,
it's
placebo is real
40.
though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, if your mind believes it enough, it'll make it true. Your body will then follow suit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
My point there was that's just some advanced work.
The visualization. Oh man, imagine some roots, man. Just push. Imagine your little energies. Imagine it as a color flowing through your body, out of your feet into roots into the ground. But yeah, if that's
very
too, if you're like, I'll just touch some grass.
There's
cool
1,000 ways to skin a cat. But
that's true.
There's something called man, I really don't. We're gonna skip to Addison's disease.
Well, is there an acronym for the one you're trying to say?
No, it's ANKYLOSING, spondylitis. It's lower spine and lower back pain. Okay. So, ankylosing spondylitis. It sounds like a dinosaur a little bit.
Well, if someone has that, they'll know what the fuck you're talking about. They'll be like, I know that one.
And Addison's disease, which is adrenal insufficiency, fibromyalgia, widespread pain, fatigue, and survival exhaustion.
Oh, yeah. And that's root? Or is that sacral?
Well, some of these you can experience throughout, like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis is going to be a reoccurring thing. And like systematic lupus, secondary flares from insecurity. And
yeah, I've personally seen fibromyalgia linked to sexual trauma. It may not be the only trauma it's going to be linked to, but that's what I've seen is a lot of women experience with a lot of women.
Well, the VA told me I had fibromyalgia, and a third-party doctor said, "Oh, your symptoms look like lupus and rheumatoid arthritis." No, and that's the thing.
Yeah, and fibromyalgia is basically like, well, we can't fucking prove any of this, so let's just slap fibromyalgia on you and say that you're making it up.
We don't understand why your whole body's in 10 out of 10 pain. You can go fuck yourself, and you didn't sneeze.
Yeah, achoo.
So, and vitiligo and alopecia is also associated.
That one is really interesting, learning about alopecia, because it's like the skin and hair are manifesting as your boundary being crossed. That's what I read about that. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense to me. People, you have to realize your body and your mind and your emotions and all that shit highly, highly, highly connected. They're 100% connected.
Yeah, there's no
your fascia. Your fascia is like the sticky shit under your skin, and I just learned about fascia, and it's crazy because they don't teach any of this shit in school, right? And it's like that's the stuff we should be learning about. I asked a nurse if she knew anything about fascia. She's like, "Well, we kind of just learned that a little bit, like
they kind of
briefly when we had to do like I think the anatomy." Like I don't know if they had to look at a corpse or whatever and like go through that for nursing school. I imagine you do. So, and that's the only time fascia was mentioned, that she said. So I was like, yo, you don't even fucking know what fascia is either. You don't really recognize the significance of it. And it's like, it's your, you could view it as like a network. Like I call it the superhighway for emotions. So I stay open-minded because I feel like this shit's ever evolving.
And keep in mind, like, we're doing all this and we don't have all the answers. We've explored a lot of things, and we both acknowledge to each other we still have a shit ton to explore. And, that's why
we just get these like insights. We're like Ryan, you're like, yo, I got this idea to like do this and this and marry the two and just see what I find. And this, now you're reading it to us. So this is what we're doing. We get these like creative ideas, and instead of keeping it to ourselves, we're just sharing it and not being scared to be wrong. Because honestly, there is no real right and wrong. I mean, maybe, but it's like, as long as you're coming from a place of like, you don't want to cause harm, you're trying to help, you're trusting yourself, you feel like what you're bringing to the table is good, and it's that final stage of the awakening of like, what was it called? It's because I didn't see it.
Our ADHD brains. Embodied.
No, it's because I'm a bit embodied. What?
Yeah, embodied service.
Service. Okay, that's the word I was thinking of. Yeah, so like, if you are trying to be of service to others, don't be fucking scared to be wrong, dude, because you may have the missing piece of someone's puzzle. Because all we're doing is channeling existing information. Like, none of this shit is new, what we are coming up with. But we're just like, all right, I'm here. I'm an open channel. Send it to me. I'll deliver the message. That's all we're doing. So
and
we're
living
special
in
the sense of like how we frame things in our mind. And this is the beauty of the ADHD mind, is like, we could be spit out, calculating,
absolutely,
spitting it out. And that's this whole episode. But yep. Yeah, we're just being brave enough. Like, we have to have courage. Don't have fear, man. Because who fucking cares if we're wrong? Like, ultimately, we're not telling people you must do this or you'll die. We're just like offering an option. We're like, here you go, take it. Like, see if this helps. Who fucking knows?
Walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. Like, it might hurt your feet a little bit, but they're not gonna fucking fall off.
I don't want to
like.
Do that. Just kidding. All right, so yeah, keep it moving with the autoimmune stuff.
We're moving on to sacral, and that's your lower abdomen. Like Melissa said, this is emotions, creativity, sexuality, reproduction, fluidity, adrenals, and ovaries. And some of the autoimmune complications that can be involved here: inflammatory bowel disease or Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, celiac disease, and this is emotional flow and digestion block, psoriasis, skin as emotional boundary, Sjogren's syndrome, dryness as emotional withholding. And Sjogren's often presents itself in females because it's your eyes dry out, your mouth dries out, and I've had experience with Sjogren's, and like eye pain, mouth dry as hell, but your lady parts, those dry up, super dry down there. And that's Sjogren's, and it's associated with your sacral, so it's all connected.
Makes sense. And you know what I just thought of, though, is like, we also don't, like, I don't want to make it sound like if you're blocked, it's because of a trauma necessarily, because, for example, I was thinking of my my sister's son. He has celiac. It's like, does that mean he was sexually abused? No. No. Or does that mean he has experienced a trauma impacting his sacral? No. Like, some people have predispositions, like the way their DNA is structured, and there may have been an activator that switched that on.
And it could be generational.
Maybe in utero. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, it could be passed down to you. There's a number of things, and it goes back to don't attach too hard to all of this. Yeah. It's for you to explore. And
and then hear what we're saying and be like, oh, if it gives you that, like, oh shit,
it's resonating.
Maybe I should explore that. Maybe I should look into that. Maybe I should get interested or curious about it. It's not necessarily like take it and run with it and like, that's the thing. Stay open. Stay open. I mean, trust your intuition. But a lot of people who have been traumatized can't trust their intuition right now. So I get it. But yeah, I just want to put that disclaimer out there.
Yeah, thank you for being there to catch that. And because I'm a person with momentum, like I ride momentum. And so,
Yeah.
So
That's my job,
fibromyalgia,
man.
fibromyalgia comes here too, and it's part of it. So 3, the solar plexus chakra, and this is personal power, self-esteem, digestion, willpower, the pancreas and liver. Okay. So type 1 diabetes, pancreas attacks from powerlessness. Celiac is present here again. Then you have irritable bowel disease, digestive fire imbalance. Rheumatoid arthritis comes here again. Anger, rage, held in gut and joints. And that was a big part of my problem. I was repressing a lot of anger and rage. And that's why my rheumatoid arthritis, I was so mad at so many people, justifiably so, for all the bullshit my daughters had to go through. And in turn, I had to go through. Like, I should be fucking angry. I had to surrender to that and let it go to an extent. I don't forget. It's still there. I'm just attacking it a different way. I'm documenting everything. I'm researching everything. So when the time comes and it presents itself, all those non-answers and bullshit, I'm going to be able to hold people fucking accountable for, but I have to let that come to me.
And it's ready. Like, it's not even like, we don't even want to get rid of anger either, right? Like, because you're using your anger and you're like repackaging it, basically. Instead of using it in a primitive way. Yeah, exactly. And so that's why we don't want to emasculate the masculine, you know? Like, and I don't want to say anger is only for guys or whatever, but it's this, the systems have made it appear that men fight, use your anger that way, like, you know, get even, whatever it is. And it's usually backwards and upside down. Like what
I can use my anger
has conditioned us to believe.
You know? And I
think
channel
about like
that
music.
anger. Exactly. And there's, again, so many ways to repurpose that energy and use it. Like, run faster, lift more, fucking create better.
Yeah.
You know? And
women who maybe struggle with anger or repressed anger, that's a lot of times that anger is to be harnessed for advocacy and creation as well. And
that's good energy.
And you kind of embody, the way I view using your anger is through like this almost like scary fucking like calculated, like, you know, if you think of like who's the Daenerys from
Targaryen?
Yeah. Think
Queen
of her,
Dragon, Breaker of Chains.
Yeah, think of her, like how she evolved throughout, and like the end point of her, she's just like, you don't fuck with her, you know what I mean? And she uses her dragons and shit. Like, that's how I view the feminine anger of like, all right, you don't even need to like rage out. It's like, I'm gonna get you in the etheric. I'm gonna get you in the like in your fucking sleep, bro. Like in your dreams.
And what destroyed her in the end was taking that rage out on a city, you know.
Right.
And even
because it's going to impact her heart, because she knows deep down that's not
and she
really
lost herself. And you know, Jon Snow was her shadow, and that like it or you know, it was they were both
remind
Targaryens.
me of Jon Snow.
I've gotten that before.
Really?
I wish.
Funny. Wait,
I
who
wish.
that dude on YouTube say you look like?
Oh, do I want to say the name? And
no, don't say the dude's name that commented, but like, who did he say you were?
The username. What's his name?
No, don't say his username.
Yeah,
we don't need to fucking put energy into that.
There's a funny story. It's funnier than you give it credit for. It looked bad on the surface, but it was the Office reference.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, who the fuck this day and age is gonna have that username? Okay.
Michael Scott said it. It was it was his dating profile name.
Okay, so whoever knows, if you know, you know. That was the username of the person who said he looked like this dude. Let's see. Sean Ashmore. Ooh.
I don't know.
And then I had to Google that because I was like, who the fuck is that? Hold on. Let's pull
He's a tall feller. I wish.
Is he? Is he?
Yeah, he's
tall. Dude, you kind of actually do. All right. So how tall is he? 5'11". Not that tall.
Well,
for a dude.
For some people, 5'11's very tall.
Dude, you actually do kind of look like it. Hold on, let me pull up this picture. I don't know if I can show it on my screen or not.
I looked like shit last week. Like, I had the little...
Hey, it was meant to be, man. Last week's episode was meant to be. So if you guys were watching that one, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with them? We were having an off week. We weren't synced, man.
That's such a human thing, and part of what we're here to do is show that we're all fucking human. We've been so desensitized by seeing all of these people be have to put on the vision of perfect, and these are the people that we have to that are put in front of us every day. It creates this unattainable fucking
Yep. And my programming was coming in, and because I'm editing the video, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And so I'm building this in my head of like, why? And so my insecurities start coming in, and I'm like, was I talking too much? Was I like taking over? Like, was I like not, all these insecurities start coming in. That's my old programming. And then I had to override that, or like acknowledge it, and then be like, no, it's usually not the case. Mm-hmm. That's my lens. That's my mental filter that I have when things aren't going right, or when things feel off. I default to what feels safest, which is just assume that I'm too much, so that way I can control the situation and stop talking as much. You know what I mean? But then I'm like, okay, no, let me give an opportunity to learn more. And so we did. But what I came up with after was like, dude, this had to happen for all these reasons, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always flipping it. Like, and I'm not bypassing anything negative. It's just more of like, it's not helpful to view things as a, like beating yourself up, shaming yourself, or building the other person up as some sort of a problem, or like, dude, it actually went to a space to where I was like, dude, see, this is why I don't work with people. Can I even trust him? That thought came in. And for what reason? You didn't even fucking do anything. But that's how it spirals. And so I have to catch it, because this is where my mind goes, because I'm so used to being the lone wolf. And at the first sign of like, oh no, something's off, it must mean this is too good to be true. Because remember I kept saying that, I'm like, this has got to be too good to be true. And so my mind is like looking for
making that your reality.
Yep. And if you don't catch, and this is why I'm sharing this, if you don't catch that fucking program trying to come in, which is just your past stuff of like the path of least resistance, is like, this is what we usually do. This is what we usually do. If you don't catch it and be like, okay, I don't want that. I don't want to do what I normally do. I want something different this time. So I'm going to do something different now. I'm going to bring it up, or I'm going to open up space. I'm going to let this conversation go back and forth. I'm going to stay open. I'm going to reframe this whole thing into like, okay, how is this happening for me? How is this happening for Ryan? And he can only come up with that. And that's how you work through stuff in real time.
And I met you halfway, and because I knew it too, and I unconsciously, consciously did what I did on purpose. I even gave you the heads up, like, a couple days before, because I had to put the disclaimer on it. Hey, I'm going to rev myself up and go out into that energy and see what I can pull back in. And I had to.
So you're revving yourself up. So for people who don't know what that revving up means, because I actually didn't know what you were talking about sometimes the first few times you mentioned that when we first started talking. Mm-hmm. Revving up his blood pressure so he can access certain states of consciousness, which we put a disclaimer on, like, don't try this at home, kids. That's his own way that he has kind of honed in on, like, what works for him. Or some people might smoke weed. Some people might do shrooms. Some people might meditate, whatever. This is his style. And so, yeah, you rev yourself up and then you got stuck? It backfired? What happened?
No. You burn out. Like,
you fried yourself.
Yeah. And gotcha. It takes me a little while, like, but that's me moving my energy around and building it up where my it's a little more than my container can hold for extended periods of time. But I have to overload myself to come up with some of my best stuff. And, there's consequences. You have to pay the piper, fucking, for every action.
For now, I feel like you're going to even out at some point.
Yeah, and I have, and I can consciously do it, and expand myself further and push myself further. But, like, I've burned out way harder than that. Like, anyway.
Yeah, you'll be down and out. And same thing when honestly, that's what happens. That's what I learned if you go out of your body. So I went out of my body through sleep paralysis. And what I learned from that is, like, when you come back into your body and you've consciously accessed information from outside of yourself, when you come back into your body, you've got to ground that information. And sometimes the information you're holding has such a high frequency, or the amount. You think of it as you're downloading a huge file and your system does not have the freaking bandwidth for it. It doesn't have the hardware, hard drive, whatever, freaking, what do you call it?
Yeah.
RAM.
Yeah, RAM.
To hold that. So you can fry out your system. So if you're meditating and you're, like, getting all this shit and whatever, if you're not grounding, dude, and what I mean by grounding is slowing the fuck down. And I'm not talking to you, Ryan. I'm just talking in general.
No, I know.
Slow down. Take space. Take a week break in between, or or whatever works for each person. But, like, recognize what your body is telling you, and that's that somatic connection with yourself. Like, what is my body saying? Is it about to crash? Do I need to take a break real quick? And ADHDers, we do this. We fucking run ourselves into the ground because we're constantly pulling information from other places.
Random, information we're not prepared for a lot of times, and last Tuesday was the culmination. That was me peaking and just starting to come down, and I took the next 2 or 3 days. Like, by Friday I was good to go again. That's when we had that phone call and we got back on the same page, but I went dark for 2 days. I got all that information and I went into my little brief dark night and I processed it. I integrated it, like, oh shit, this is why we hit that. And you're like, oh shit, yeah. And we met each other in the middle and we powered through, and now we're again. And
and now we're on that expansion energy since, at least for me, since Saturday. It's been boom, 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 creative thoughts coming in, like all this stuff. And I really think it's because I did, personally, for me, I think it's because I did something different than what I usually do. And I kind of like,
bingo.
I chose like, that's not something I want to hold anymore, or like how I want to operate anymore.
And now you need to integrate it.
I'm like, next rung on the ladder. And
integrate
I'm like, ooh,
it.
I like it up here. It's so much to see.
And that's what you want to keep, you know, and you know what to look out for. It doesn't mean that you don't have access to that intuition. You can just use it a little wiser at that point. And
exactly.
You rinse and repeat, and you collect these things that are good for you and let go of the bad thing, you know, the things that kept you stuck in those loops over and over.
For sure.
And, you know, kind of jumping back in, you know, hard ADHD pivot back to
But and we're covering all the stuff that we wanted to cover too, which is really cool. How this is all being weaved in. So we had a loose idea of like, all right, what do we want to talk about? So yeah, where are we at on the energy centers?
And this last one hits close to home, and the solar plexus is Hashimoto's, and this is metabolic will, rationale, digestion, metabolism center, low self-worth, chronic cortisol, and immune misfire. My mom has Hashimoto's, or she did have Hashimoto's, and I love her dearly, but this was her blockage, and it led to other things. And you know, our conversation here, I can't go to her and say, hey, let's work on this because I'm her son. It's not going to resonate well with her. Like,
and that's the thing, if you're connecting these things.
And, you know, that was a big part of my block initially, is I did a lot of this stuff to try to help her because I know I've been a drain with everything that I've gone through, and all of this, it would be my way to return, but she's not going to see it coming from me because I'm her son. I'm not supposed to be the teacher in any sort of way. And that's something we as parents, at least us, we're learning to let go of. Let our children be our teachers in a lot of way early, and keep that sort of communication open throughout their lives, and hopefully it leads to a better fucking world at some point. That's the goal. And
as we're going through this stuff, like as you're going through these, people might start connecting to their loved ones of like, oh, my loved one has this, they probably have a trauma here or whatever. But just know that, like, why can't I say this? That's so weird.
Demons.
I don't want to say blocking. Fuck off, demons. Shoo fly. That's how I view it.
Go fuck yourself.
That's actually what I was trying to think of to say, and it wouldn't come out. There's just some weird block happening. But anyway, not assume that they're not going to understand, but just like when you present information to people and they're not quite ready to hear it because they're not on that level yet, just try not to
don't take it personally.
Too personal. Yeah. Because like my sister being like, hey, are you almost done telling me we don't die? Like I could have literally like never spoken to her again because of that, but I didn't take it personally because I had compassion and like from where she's coming from, because I've been there. And it'd be like, okay, because my mom was the same way, and I would always be like, okay, mom, ha ha ha, like, yeah, I'll go ahead and change the pH in my water, freaking weirdo, you know, like in my head, and that's kind of where my sister's at.
And it's okay, like, and the harder you push against it, the harder you're gonna get pushed back too, and that's what you have to understand. And it's a damn hard thing to come to terms with, but once you do, and once you understand how to just hold space and be there when the time comes, because it's their journey to make, and the more you interfere, That's not good. That's its own form of hijacking, and it's unintentional and it's coming from a good place, yes, but
Yeah. Now, if they're
well-intended
open and they're like,
things.
tell me more, cool. But
Yeah,
a lot of times that doesn't happen. I wish that were to happen
exactly.
in my life more often
And
with my
that's
people
what
I care about.
we're trying
Yeah.
to create that conversation. And like our interaction, that's how adults are supposed to interact. Like, we could see that something was off. How do we fix it? We didn't attack each other, we didn't do any of that. We we made we strengthened things. And this going into the heart, which is a huge thing.
Yeah.
So again,
We stay humble and we
love.
keep perspective. Yeah.
Yeah,
With
love,
love. Yeah.
compassion, relationships, the thymus gland, immune T cells, lung circulation. So some of the autoimmunes associated here are systematic lupus, strong systematic inflammation, emotional self-attack, Sjogren's, scleroderma, connective tissue, relational issues, myocarditis, pericarditis, and autoimmunity, vasculitis, circulatory, and again, fibromyalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Most symptomatic autoimmunes, thymus, immune regulation, rationale, thymus equals primary immune organ, your thyroid. Blocked compassion, self-directed attack, kundalini, heart opening, often intense in purification.
Yep. I think the heart's probably like the toughest one to work
Mm-hmm.
through.
That was mine. It fucking killed me.
Yeah.
If you know,
We'll
you
have
know.
to Yeah.
Like,
We'll have to go into your death experience like maybe the next episode. Let us know if you want that. If you want like my out of body, his death experience, like he
we'll
died and came back.
we'll cut into that shit, like.
Yeah.
But my heart
So
is what
yeah, the
did
heart.
me in, and
Mm-hmm.
that was my biggest blockage. And once I popped that bitch open,
Yep. And I was thinking when you were saying this too, it was like people, if you're like, I don't have a trauma, I don't know why I have this, blah, 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 blah. There could be so many reasons why, but you just focus on the nuts and bolts here, which is
mm-hmm,
if there is energy blocked in this area, what you can do is focus on that area with your mind, with your intention, with your consciousness. And I do this in my work with my clients, not necessarily targeting the energy centers that are blocked, but more so like the work we do is just naturally imaginative. Um, you can imagine blockages there. So like I have a blockage in my tailbone. So I imagine a lot of my energy is stuck there. And when I go inside and I close my eyes and I'm like, okay, let me imagine what it actually looks like in there. I got the word the other day, pinched. And then I also saw something smashing down. And so I can work on that every single night, like kind of like if someone schedules in a meditation or something like that, or like some sort of nightly practice of some sort, you can
mm-hmm,
schedule that in. Like focus on that energy center of where there might be a blockage and work with that energy there and imagine like cleaning it with a brush or like you can use your imagination with this of whatever you feel called to do. Imagine like a dam kind of like breaking open, all kinds of stuff. Just like whatever you cling to think of in that space, you can work to change it. And the repetition of it and the consistency of that is what will create miracles. And it's with your will and your belief that you can be healed. You bring that into that space and you bring it in with like love and care. Like imagine you like cleaning off, like
mm-hmm.
just with patience and like love for yourself, for your heart, or wherever you're working on. So I just want to put that out there as like a practice you can do like today, and there's no harm in doing that. You're using your imagination and working on yourself with love. It's worth a shot, what have you got to lose?
And you said a pretty telling or, profound word there, pinched. Okay. We've established your vagus nerve is attached to all of this. When you get a pinched nerve, it's all nerves down in your body lead to your vagal nerve. And if it's pinched, that energy can't flow into your vagal nerve and flow upward. So you're going to have a block there. And like Melissa talked about, there's different ways. There's massages, there's positions, there's imagination.
Yep. Chiropractor, freaking whatever calls to you, yoga.
Mm-hmm. Free it up and let that energy move. And it might run into another block, but address that one too the same way. Like, oh, what exercises, what supplements, what diet could help me, like diet for your gut, change up your diet. Something's not something's not interacting with your system correctly there, leading to skin manifestations. And
dude, you could honestly do anything at all as long as your intention is on, I want to heal this area, resolve this area, or this area is going to be healthy, and I'm like working through that. And you, as long as you take action of any sort in relation to this blockage, which you're not ever completely blocked, but it can significantly, it's like a dam. So like there might be a little bit coming through, but yeah, you can work through that through your intention. So you want to move through the rest of these kind of we'll quickly, and then we'll cut it here since we're a little bit long, and then let us know if you want us to keep elaborating on shit, and next episode we will.
Yeah, the third eye chakra, forehead, intuition, perception, pituitary, hypothalamus, brain, and eyes. So here is going to be multiple sclerosis, strong neurological demyelination, vision issues, autoimmune encephalitis, optic neuritis, Guillain-Barré syndrome, peripheral nerves. Rationale is the brain nerve center is disconnected from intuition, myelin attacks. Then your crown chakra, top of your head, divine connection, spirituality, pineal, whole system integration, multiple sclerosis, spiritual karmic disconnection, encephalitis, dementias.
Makes sense.
Systemic lupus, neuropsychiatric lupus, and fibromyalgia. And I kind of want to go back and touch on the dementia part. If the crown is your last integration in a kundalini, and we all go through some form of kundalini in our life, it's just the movement of energy throughout our body, and kundalini is just one way to frame this whole awakening experience that's well thought out and well mapped. What at end of life, what do a lot of people face? Alzheimer's and dementia, because they never integrate their crown. They never move the energy there. So keep that in mind. Like, I have family both my grandparents are suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. If we act now, if we learn how to move this around and not get stuck in everything that we've talked about in this episode, the results later in life, you're not just investing in yourself now, you're investing in your future self, in your children's future, in being present and available, and you don't lose yourself.
Yeah. And you increase your lifespan. Talks about that too. Your kundalini flowing through you. You create an open channel is what it is, like from earth and beyond. Like you're getting this energy, life force energy kind of flowing through freely, and it can reverse aging. And that's where we're moving toward as we move towards our light bodies, which we'll go into as well. We already have them, but as we kind of activate more of the junk.
Oh, it's a
DNA.
coming. Just talk to the Hopis about
Our
it.
Superpowers on the way. Yeah. So also I want to say, as you activate kundalini shit, you can have more access to psychic abilities as well. Telekinesis, like all these things, literal superpowers, you know, when this flows through. So
lightning hands.
It's exciting, but also it's very important to take super seriously. It's not like a trend, guys.
No, this is
I say that because I'm like, I want to do it. I feel like I'm missing out, but probably it's for the best. I'm also like, well, there's probably a really good reason why this hasn't occurred to me yet. So I'll when it occurs, I will let you guys know.
And I'm not like, Melissa and I have been talking about it for a couple days now, and I'm not projecting on her in any sort of way. You know, it's not my place to jump in and say, hey, you need to do this.
Yeah, you haven't had a kundalini awakening yet, loser. You know, that's kind of how it's depicted in like a lot of the spiritual spaces. And like you said, though, Ryan, is like, yo, not everyone's is going to be like activated like abruptly. It could just slowly come on, and it'll be more subtle because you're integrating everything as it comes rather than resisting, and then like you wake up in the middle of the night and you're fucking like completely like
you came all over
in
yourself.
Some weird like
what
position. Yeah, and then there's a fucking like being in your room staring at your face. Like, that's pretty terrifying. So we don't want it to be a traumatic experience for people. But anyway, so I guess we'll leave it there, and we'll be back in another week, and we thank you for joining. Leave comments, guys. Ask questions.
Yeah,
we did
give
get
us
some
feedback.
questions in like in our messages and stuff, which is really appreciated. It keeps us going, and it keeps us kind of it helps us steer the ship. Like, all right, what do people want to hear? We don't fucking know. We're just showing up. Like, we felt called to do this, and we're like, all right, let's just figure it out as we go. and maybe you guys can
it's
help
good
guide.
stuff for sure, but you know, if we get direction, we'll attack a direction just as hard as we attack riffing.
Yeah, dude.
Like, thank y'all,
right, well,
everybody.
Happy birthday, Ryan. What a great way to spend your birthday. That's dedication.